Good evening. How are you doing? I just wrapped my first Christmas gift of the season, put it under the tree, so I'm pretty excited about that. Gift giving is very fun, and so is gift receiving. You want more on materialism? We talked about that last week. In today's video, I'm going to touch on my experience after graduating from college. I graduated in mid-June of 2022 and just want to talk a little bit about the struggles because that's really been my life. So let's just get into it. I think that we have certain expectations of what our life is going to be like after we graduate from college. And I actually remember while I was in college, maybe even towards the beginning of college, I'm not exactly sure when, I watched all these videos by creators on YouTube talking about their experiences post-grad and basically how it's been a struggle. And so I think the message that was really coming across is that after you graduate, it's kind of hard to start your new life up. But I think that I still had some wishful thinking because I did have a lot of professors telling me that as a registered dietitian, you're gonna have no issues getting a job because registered dietitians are in really high demand right now. Unfortunately, that really wasn't the case, but I guess you can be the judge of that because I know that I have not had the longest experience of trying to find a job, but it definitely did take me longer than I had really hoped or planned for. The reality isn't really as fun as it can be in our heads. Like, oh, we just graduated, got my degree, all these jobs are gonna want me, I'm gonna be able to start my life and support myself financially and make all these new friends and blah, blah, blah. But it just takes a lot of work to actually get there. I'm gonna walk you through my plan so you can see what I was thinking and then what actually happened. So, as I mentioned earlier, I graduated mid-June of 2022, and my plan was that I was going to study for the RD exam in 1 month, and then I was going to take the exam, hopefully pass the first time. Then I would take a month to apply for jobs. At the end of that month, I would have accepted a job offer, and then I would move to wherever the job was. I was looking somewhere in the Northeast, so I would move there and start my new life, basically. So I think in my head that would have been September, October at the latest. What really happened is a bit different. It's November 26th right now, and I'm still in California. Maybe I should have mentioned that before. While all of this is happening, studying for the exam, applying for jobs, I'd be temporarily staying with my parents in California. And it's the end of November and I'm still here. So here's what actually happened. I graduated in mid-June. Then I studied for the RD exam over 2 months. So not 1 month, but 2. Then I took the exam and I did pass it the first time. Then I spent the next 3 months looking for a job, and at the end of November, which I know I said it's the end of November now, so this was like a few days ago, I actually accepted a job offer. And as we speak, I am in the process of actually figuring out all the logistics of actually moving, and I will be leaving in about a week from now on December 2nd, and then I will start my job on December 12th. As you can see, very different. My original plan was about 2 months, 3 max, and it has been about 5. Now I want to just go into some of the struggles that I've experienced, what's been difficult over the past 5 months, and I think for me it's really been mental struggles. And from what I have heard from other people, specifically online, I think that usually mental struggles are the hardest part of post-grad. For me, the first struggle that I encountered was pretty much directly after I graduated and finished my internship, because I did my degree and my internship at the same time. That's part of becoming a registered dietitian. And when I got out here to California where my parents live, maybe a week or two after coming back, I began studying for the exam. And this was a full-time thing. I think I tried to make it on the part-time side because I did want to allow myself to have that information sink in and not just be too laser focused on studying, because then you can burn yourself out. But that was the struggle, is that I was burned out, and I don't think it's the way that I was structuring how I was studying. I think it was just the fact that I had just been not only doing a degree but doing my internship with over 1,200 supervised practice hours together over the past 4 years. And I was tired. I was done. I didn't want to take any more exams. And honestly, I don't know if I could ever take an exam again. I'm so over exams. But I had to take this exam because ultimately the goal for me was not graduating college, it was becoming a registered dietitian. So in other words, passing the RD exam. So even as I came to my parents' house in California, having graduated from college and finishing my internship, I didn't feel done. Everyone was saying, oh, you must feel so relieved, like you must feel so free and excited to start your future. And I really didn't, because it wasn't over for me. I still needed to study so that I could pass the RD exam and become a registered dietitian. And at that point, I was just so exhausted. Another thing to mention is that the RD exam is everything you've learned over the past 4 years. If you do your internship separately, it could be over even more years than that, but for me it was 4 years. And stuffing 4 years into even just the 2 months that it took me to study for the exam, that's a lot. That's a lot. And maybe it was wishful thinking to think that I could do that in 1 month. I'm sure some people do it, but that wasn't how it worked out for me. I don't think I would have maybe even passed if I had taken the exam after 1 month of studying. But I was just so tired, and it just drained me. Then we actually come to passing the exam. I passed the exam on August 19th, and immediately I felt really excited. I felt happy, proud of myself. And the rest of that day, I felt pretty much the same way. Not as strongly as I did right when I saw on the screen, like, you passed, congrats. But the feeling pretty much lasted the whole day. But starting the day after, I just really felt empty. I didn't feel anything when I would say, I'm Monique and I'm a registered dietitian and nutritionist. And it was a little concerning, but I think in my head, I reasoned that out to be, oh, I'm just not attaching my worth to this status, this certification, and that's a good thing. But I figured that I would feel something after a while. I mean, after years of like in the bathroom saying to myself, hi, I'm Monique and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and just feeling so proud and excited for the day when I could actually say that and it would be true, it was concerning that like now it is true and I'm saying it and I don't feel anything. And then it really made me question, not necessarily am I on the right path, but like, why is this? What does this mean? What's happening? What do I do? All these questions that I didn't have answers to and that I didn't even have before taking the exam. It was just like, this is what I'm doing, this is happening, I'm going for it, and it's gonna be great. And I'm just gonna be honest that I still feel that way now, and I'm hoping that when I start my job and I get settled in a new place that I will get some more answers to those questions and start feeling something about my RD status, but that has definitely been a struggle and something that I wasn't necessarily expecting, so it's kind of disappointing. And the last big struggle has been job hunting. As you probably can imagine, I've heard many people talk about this, and no one says it's fun, so I wasn't necessarily expecting it to be fun by any means, but I definitely expected it to go faster. Job hunting takes a lot out of you. My dad has always said that finding a job is a full-time job, and I've been living that for the past 3 months. And if you've ever job hunted, then you have experienced this as well. It takes so much time to update your resume, and not only update it, but then to cater it to every single job you apply to. But then you need to come up with criteria. What are you actually looking for in a job? And go to all the sites and actually hunt for jobs and save them. And then when you find that job, it takes a while to fill out the application. As I mentioned before, catering your resume. If they want a cover letter or give you the option to upload one, catering your cover letter to every single position. Then if they want references, you need to reach out to those people and make sure that they are a-okay with being a reference for you. Then actually submitting them to be a reference, and then emailing them and sending them the position and making sure that they know what it is, so if they get contacted, they know how to cater their response to the job that you applied for. All of that takes a long time. So for me, max, I could apply to 2 jobs in one day. And that doesn't include like looking for a job. That would have to be something separate if I wanted to do something that wasn't like specifically applying for a job, but career related. Like maybe I wanted to like update my LinkedIn or something. That would be separate. That wouldn't be on the same day that I was applying for jobs. And then what was really hard was the fact that I was putting in all of this effort. It was very tiring. It took a lot of time, and you're really not seeing results because most places don't respond, or at least that was my experience, that most places didn't actually send me anything back. So I never even heard like, okay, did you just go with somebody else instead of me? Or is this like a dead post and you never check it and you're not actually hiring? Or are you interested and you want to schedule an interview, but you're just kind of dilly-dallying about it? Like for most of the positions, I never found out what the status was. I just didn't hear anything back. When that happens, I really feel that my time is not being respected. And this extended to interviews as well. Sometimes the way that people schedule them and change things around or want you to meet with a million people, they're not really giving you the information that you need. It just kind of feels like your time's being wasted. After all that time of putting in that effort, you start to feel kind of desperate. Like you're just like, I need a job. Like, please just give me a job. I'll take anything. But at the same time, you don't want to compromise your values and just your criteria for what you want in a position where you will be actually happy. I did get a job offer in October, and I negotiated with them, and we just couldn't come to an agreement on salary. So I did choose to walk away from that job. That specific job I had done 6 interviews for. So, I was invested and I really did want to accept, but it didn't feel right with the salary. It went quiet for a while. I was wondering, am I ever gonna hear anything? And then my parents told me, which maybe is obvious to some people, but because I'm sort of new to the career world, I didn't really think about this. And I guess that companies really basically aren't gonna hire you once it gets to December. My parents were like, you're not gonna get hired in December. So if you don't get hired in November, it's not happening this year. When it went quiet after I had to pass on that job, I definitely was nervous and I wondered if I did the right thing. But luckily, I actually had 3 jobs reach out to schedule interviews. So I did interviews with 2 jobs, and then a little bit after that, I did get an offer for a second interview with one of those jobs, and then that third job reached out to me for a first interview. Very quickly after interviewing with those first 2 positions, one of them actually offered me the job, and it was a position that seemed like a really good fit for me, and just that it would be really fun. It was in a place that I was interested in, just kind of like fit the bill for everything. But I did want to negotiate the salary and the benefits, and I had some more questions that needed answering. So it took about a week, maybe a little over a week after that to accept the job offer. And I accepted that job offer at the end of November, which it's the end of November now, but it was a few days ago. So everything did work out, which is amazing, and I'm really grateful for that. It just wasn't, it didn't go as smoothly as I don't want to say expected, but hoped that it would. I don't necessarily think that my experience is unique here. I think that this is something that most, if not all, of post-grad individuals experience. However, it's still hard. Even if it's a common experience, it's still hard. There is a lot of hope and positivity ahead because, for one thing, the holidays are coming around, which is just, there's something magical about the holidays, and I think it's fun. For me, gift giving and gift receiving is the most fun that I have around the holidays. And considering I just wrapped a gift this morning, I'm just like really excited to see the reactions of people when they open the gifts that I got for them. That's really fun. I'm also gonna be decorating the house either tomorrow or the day after. So that's also something I'm looking forward to. But then I'm also moving. I'm gonna be in a new place, sort of starting a new job that I think is gonna be really fun. So there's a lot of good things ahead. So that is all I have to say on the topic today. I hope you enjoyed this little chat and that you have a great rest of your evening.